I'm Preeti Sangwan, and this seasonal series is a chat on our local food systems. Professionally, I'm a lawyer working in the area of civil and family law. I'm also on the board of the Erin Mills Farmers Market here in Mississauga. I've always been interested in food sustainability, and that's what drew me to the Erin Mills Farmers Market. The more I got involved, the more I realized that our local food system is a diverse, rich, and intricate network of individuals and organizations working to provide local, healthy, and accessible food options to our community. I wanted to get to know the people in this dynamic community, and the opportunity presented itself in the form of this podcast. Last week, I spoke to Jane. Check out the talk at the Erin Mills Farmers website, and she shared Gabi's story and her involvement in the market and community. So, of course, I wanted to learn more about Gabi and her work. Today, we do just that. Gabi Starosta is the market manager at the Erin Mills Farmers Market and is the founder of Captain Jamie, which provides healthy skin and body care products. Gabi, welcome, and can you please tell us a bit about yourself and how you came into your role at the local food systems here in Erin Mills?
So my story is very long, but I'll just say that much that I am originally from a very small country in Eastern Europe. It's called Moldova. In 1999, I moved to New York City on a scholarship. Then in 2009, I came to Canada. In Moldova, I come from a very agricultural background because both my family on both sides, the grandparents were farmers. They were just small-scale, self-sufficient people who had everything, who had produce and livestock and even made wine. But then, I went to Pace University and I had a regular corporate job for many years. And then in 2014, there was a big shift in my life where I realized a lot of things and I walked away from the corporation, which was stressful because you step into the unknown. But at that point in 2014, many things started happening, including the discovery of the backyard farm and market, where I showed up just as a volunteer. And I came there for one Saturday, and I don't know what happened, but I ended up coming there every single Saturday after that and volunteered as a photographer. And that's how I got to know the market crew, the vendors, and then eventually working with Lee, I ended up managing this market. But also because of the market and the people I was surrounded with, I ended up going to two holistic nutrition schools. And also the market had some impact in me developing a product line. There were other factors, but all of this came together. So today I find myself managing the market with Lee and the board of directors at the Erin Mills Market because we renamed it. And doing other things, including my product line.
And when it comes to your role with the Erin Mills Farmers Market as a market manager, and Jane had mentioned that you have a bunch of stories to share about vendors and the networks that you built. Do you want to share a story, one of your favorites?
There are so many stories. Every single day there was a story. But one of my favorite stories was we had a vendor. He's not currently with us, but we hope he comes back. His name is Desmond Bailey, and he's a Rastafari. And one day he just took me to our community gardens, which were right near the market, which our market is quite different from others because we had community gardens as part of our market. He took me to a garden and he gave me a long lecture about Mother Earth and how precious it is and how we should love it. And I just stood there really fascinated because it's for the first time that I truly connected with the earth, which never happened before. You farm, but just having that outlook from a different perspective, from a different culture, that was amazing. There are many, many, many stories that we just probably wouldn't have time to listen to everything. Also, just interesting fact, as a result of me being at this market, a new project spinned off, which is the Mississauga Beekeepers Association. I made friends with one of our vendors who is a beekeeper who sells honey, Stephen Rice. And somehow we ended up creating this group in Mississauga, which gathers once a month. And we talk about bees and a lot of people are beekeepers. Our first meeting actually had a lot of city councilors attending. So that is also very exciting. And again, it's a result of what happens at our farmers market.
So you clearly have a lot of exciting and diverse array of projects that you work on. From what I'm getting, they're farmer related, they're bee related, they're community related, and they also work with the institution at play to make those things sustainable and long term. What is the thing that gets you out of bed and working towards all of these things?
People, having lived in so many parts of the world and having gone through so many events. It's an interesting fact about me. I actually, when COVID hit, I looked back at my life and I wondered, how come I ended up being in a lot of hot spots in the world? Like, why was I around Chernobyl when it happened? And why was I part of the USSR collapse? And why was I in New York City when 9/11 happened? And then here, all of this taught me the most important thing in life is the connection. Going to the market and meeting the vendors, meeting the customers, hearing their stories, hearing what the farmers deal with. It's truly a unique experience because every person is so valuable. Every life is so valuable. Every human being and their story and what made them end up at that market.
When you talk about, COVID-19 kind of offering an opportunity to reflect on the work you're doing and all of that, you also talk about the people and the connections that, get you out of bed. How has COVID-19 kind of affected those connections? What's a positive consequence of having gone through this lockdown under COVID-19? What's your experience?
Positive is that we're all learning something new and we're all learning to adapt. And this is part of our existence. And this is what makes us better, that ability to adapt. Watching farmers and vendors trying to create a store online, it's challenging, but I know in the long term that will increase their business. And I do have a success story regarding that. We used to have a vendor, Little Bee Farmers Market. She's from Mississauga. We couldn't even invite her back this year because she's swamped. Because people could not go to the store. All of a sudden, she has a store online. People just flooded her store with orders. She started this whole thing on Facebook as a little group. The word of the mouth spread so much that now she simply cannot keep up. And this was great. It was great to have this opportunity because I participated in a meeting with our local councillor in a Zoom meeting, and I saw a lot of elder people who were truly, truly concerned and scared to go to the store. So having these online options are very important because we live in times that nothing is predictable. Very little is predictable. This whole COVID thing just hit us out of nowhere. So having these opportunities to diversify how we bring food to the people, because this is something very important to have. There's probably a lot of positive. I just didn't give it time to sit and think too much about it.
No, that's a great positive. I think having new and diverse ways of expanding and connecting our local food community is massive. It's huge. And to see that as a positive consequence of our current lockdown stage is inspiring.
Also to see how, I never realized, for me it was a huge surprise because I have my own standards. I shop only at certain stores. I support strictly my local neighborhood little mom and pop stores. Again, nothing against Amazon, but I don't shop at Amazon. But just seeing how much people are wired and programmed to buy online, it makes sense that we should have this online. And why not use this time to build fine? If we have to go online, we'll do it. We'll do a digital thing. Why not build our local infrastructure online? Because so far we had only bigger stores available, right? Where would you shop online? You couldn't shop at your little local stores.
It's a huge undertaking and it's impressive. What has working through the current environment revealed to you about your role as a market manager and your relationship with the vendors?
So now you realize that some vendors might not be so tech savvy. And the role changes because sometimes I'm tech support. Sometimes I'm helping with pricing. It changes so much that I'm wearing a lot of hats right now.
And when we're, taking it back to the people and the community that we serve, whether it's Erin Mills Farmers Market or the greater food system in Mississauga and the GTA, we've talked about online, and a lot of things are changing. The farmers markets have been deemed essential services in Ontario. How will the Erin Mills Farmers Market community evolve under the changing circumstances? What does it look like to you?
So it all depends right now on the guidelines and the Peel Health Board and the municipality. We are in the talks, and most likely we will go ahead with the market, but of course we have to adapt certain changes and abide by certain regulations and create a very safe environment where everyone is welcome. If you look outside right now, the concept of COVID is everywhere. We don't even exactly know where we are anymore, but we know how people feel. So we know some people feel more confident, some people don't feel as confident. We will have the tents spaced out. We will have a one directional movement. We will have volunteers assisting customers and showing the way, making sure the flow is good. Certain rules, and we will have everything displayed, but we do want to bring the market. And right now we have great examples of Berry Market and Milton Market, which already function and open. They adapted these particular new regulations. I went to see the Milton Market last week. Lots of people showed up with children. Just it was actually refreshing to see a normal day.
So, Gabby, long term, what is your hope for the Erin Mills Farmers Market and the greater food systems in the GTA?
We need to be able to rely upon our local supply. We need to be able to develop self-sufficiency. And with the way things went with the outsourcing and everything is manufactured somewhere else and everything we're bringing food from somewhere else, is this a viable solution? Is this a viable system? Probably not. And we just had a good reality check on that. I am very confident that a lot more people are going to start backyard gardens and grow a lot more food. I am seeing this already. A lot of people created gardens in the backyard this year. But I truly hope that we do not have any other critical situations as we just did. And we haven't even seen the full extent of it. We're just going through it, but the aftermath is yet to come, because I had farmers who told me that hundreds of acres of land hasn't been worked because we didn't have workers. We invite workers from other countries to come and do the work. Farmers were not able to find employees to come and help. So I'm very curious about this year. This is a very interesting year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly is going to transpire. And this reality check is going to affect a lot of people. And this reality check will make people a lot more responsible. I come from a country which collapsed, where overnight your money meant nothing. Overnight you woke up when USSR collapsed, whatever savings you had, you understand, there's no country, there's no currency. I saw firsthand how lucky we were to have that land and how lucky we were in so many ways. Not everybody here has that privilege to have land and to be self-sufficient. I'm not going to say crisis is good, but no, it's a good reality check. So now I'm pretty sure that people will be more aware. And there is already a tendency of buying Canadian. I mean, even our prime minister came out and encouraged people to buy Canadian. And our job is to make sure that we bring that Canadian food to the customer. As for Erin Mills, because of our location and where we are, I truly see it as becoming a very integrated city market. Here we're literally on the sidewalk near 3 condominiums across the street from a hospital. You cannot miss us. We're in the neighborhood. We're part of the neighborhood. We are in the community. We're right there. And I just want to see it prosper and get stronger every year. And I want to see Canada, taking more responsibility and having more awareness on how we spend our money, I truly have high hopes. We can turn this country around and make it much better.
No, I think everything you've said, I agree with. I'm an optimist too. I'm so glad you could come on and talk to us and enlighten us about your experiences and your stories. You're really deep in the trenches when it comes to actually doing the work and providing the food. So having you here and kind of sharing your perspective has been amazing. Thank you so much, Gabi.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having me.
I hope you found Gabi's passion as contagious as I did and continue to follow the series. They're available on the Air Mills Farmers Market website. I look forward to our next conversation. Thank you for listening in. Have a happy day.